And first pick, Nautilus. I like that. I love Nautilus. I love his depth charge, Riptide. I think it's just a really cool champion. Well, it needs to get locked in first before I get too excited. And for everybody that is asking on chat, these games are best of one. There are 128 teams in the bracket for the EU West, and there are 64 teams in the bracket for EU Nordic and East. And of course, the top two from both make it through to Sunday's qualifier. There will be another qualifying round on Thursday, where the top two from both servers will qualify for Sunday as well. And finally on Sunday, the top 4 teams out of the 8 will then qualify for Dreamhack Summer, which is taking place in June. And very, very lock-in on Nocturne and Irelia. Do you think that's a bit brave, picking an Irelia this early on?
I think it is. She is, okay, really good in that top lane, and throughout the game she scales really nicely, but she can be counterpicked. There's plenty of champions left open that can do exactly that. And Arcelot's been around a while, I'm sure he knows those champions, and he is right at the bottom of the list, so he's got ages to think about it. Let's see quite what he does pull out of the bag.
I'd be really happy if they decided to play a Wukong. I've seen Wukong kick Irelia in the chops a bunch of times, but whether or not they're going to go for that remains to be seen. And this might be an AD Kennen. I don't see putting Kennen in the top lane against Irelia. Maybe that's just me. So the next two...
I have seen Ocelot run Ari in the top lane, actually.
So might be something new. Might be something, you know, breaking the meta a little bit for SK Gaming. Jerry currently sitting on Blitzcrank. I like that. I love watching Blitzcrank play. I casted a game on the weekend for Alternate Attacks, and they played a double jungle. It wasn't really double jungle. It was a roaming Blitzcrank and a jungler. And every single rocket grab landed every single time Blitzcrank pushed into the jungle to invade. He managed to pick up a kill. So it was really, really great. Now, let's see whether or not Ari is going to go in this top lane, or, you know, Ken and Ari playing mid and top, or whether or not they're going to pick a different top lane champion and put Kennen down in the bottom as AD carry. And once again, we see Lulu being picked up. So, Alistair most likely going to be playing support. And who is Ocelot going to lock in? Who is Ocelot going to select here? Waiting for the last few seconds. I think it's going to be a top lane champion. I think it's going to be AD Kennen. But I might be wrong.
Tis sitting on Candy Panda. He's the AD player and he's got the right summoners up. Wouldn't surprise me.
And of course, we're going to see now an AP Lulu once again. AP Lulu really starting to gain a popularity, really starting to gain a lot of ground when it comes to the scene. And there we go. Ocelot does lock in Riven, so that is going to be an AD Kennen. We'll see Ari in the mid lane, Riven up top, and Nautilus in the jungle. And wow, that's a lot of crowd control in that bottom lane. Alistair and Kennen combo. But they are coming up against a Janna Cogmore, so that Monsoon from Janna is going to be vital to preventing kills once the champions hit level 6.
That really surprises me that they're going to pick a Cogmore into that much CC. That would make more sense.
Yeah, there we go. The Valkyrie...
You need that, yeah, you need an escape for the Valkyrie to get away from that much CC.
I would probably have thought they would maybe have picked up a Tristana. Pick up not only the escape from Rocket Jump, but to have that Buster shot, just to get rid of Kennen or Riven, or even Nautilus in some cases if they manage to, once they hit the mid-game and the team fight stage. So
that would make a lot of sense, but to be honest, I'm just surprised at how little Tristan's been played at the moment. She just seems to have fallen out of favour. All the AD carries seem to be in a very nice place in the way of balance. It's very much team comp and player preference, and no one seems to want to play her so much. She was I believe she still is, Candy Panda's favourite AD carry, but obviously not what he's going to run this time.
So we're down to the last 3 minutes before we lock in. We're going to see Riven going up against Irelia in the top lane. Kennen Ari facing off against Lulu in the mid lane. And that can go either way, I think. Because, of course, Ari does have the ability to heal up, over time. It's not the most effective life vamp or spell vamp. But the damage that's going to be coming up from Hawkdon, is it going to be enough to lock down Ari once she's polymorphed?
Certainly something to think about. Being told Tristana's early problems are that her rocket dump are her best damage. And obviously you're not going to be wanting to leap into that much CC in the bottom lane. And mid-game damage is a little bit low as well.
We're going to have to see exactly how that plays out. I think once Ari hits level 6, she's going to be able to dart around, dodge those glitter lances. I think, what's the duration on polymorph? It's about 1.5 or 2 seconds, around about there. Once that's burnt out, she's just going to be able to dart around Lulu and put all the damage down. And then, of course, you've got the huge kill lane of Alistair and Kennen in the bottom, with all the crowd control, the pushback, the stun, the knock-up. And, of course, you've then got Janna, who's going to be needing to counteract that. If Janna doesn't land those Howling Gales and, Corki is a bit slow on those Valkyries, going to be in a lot of trouble. But he has taken Cleanse. So no summon a heal, no heal at all on the bottom lane for Derpers. But they do have Cleanse sitting on Corki. And whether or not he's going to be able to get out of all of that crowd control with a single Cleanse, that remains to be seen. And what do you think about the jungles? Dedran sitting on Nautilus. He does have the potential, for slightly stronger early ganks. But Talor, once he hits level 6, those paranoia ganks are incredibly strong.
I love Nautilus in the jungle right now. Ridiculously aggressive, really strong as the game scales. He's a little bit weak on the earlier levels if you catch him at the right part of his jungle. But Nocturne's not a huge one for the invaders because he's just as weak himself in the first couple of clears. So Adrian's pretty safe, and he's great at ganking the top lane too. So maybe Ocelot's got something up his sleeve in conjunction with Adrian.
Well, we are into the last minute before the game starts, so I'm going to throw up some quick commercials, and when we're back, SK facing Team Derpers. So, let's have a quick look there. We are moving into the last one, so not everybody has adverts, for those of you that are still chilling here and watching. Let's start to get some votes. Who's going to win? While we hit the loading page, then I'd like to see who's got the money. What do you think in terms of champions?
In terms of champions, I'm going to have to give this to SK. I just feel they've got a little bit better cohesion with Kennen, Ari, Alistair than the AoE slow from Nautilus and a brief but still AoE stun from Ocelot. They've just got such a strong capability of locking down this entire Derpers team in a tight, caught-up space and bursting them before they can even react.
Yeah, very, very true. So we're going to have to see whether or not Derpers actually get caught out in those small places, committing to fights near the jungles or the river entrances. Because if they do, they're a bit screwed. So game is loading, and as is customary, we have to look at the sexy skins. Earthrider Corki is totally awesome. I prefer that to Red Baron. And the Halloween Nocturne, still totally cool. I must admit, even Aurelia's good looking with her Frostblade skin. So, champions are loaded. We are into the game. This is round number 2, guys. SK Gaming, they're going to be wearing the blue shorts, bottom left-hand side of your screen. They're facing off against Derpers in the top right-hand side of your screen. I need to throw up my overlay, make sure that this is 100% correct. And we are into round number 2 of the Dreamhack Qualifiers. Let's see what happens. Everybody on chat, we've asked it already. SK Gaming was the prediction for who's going to win this one. Who's going to pick up first blood? That's what I want to know. We got a whole bunch of guys on chat. I want to know from you, which champion is going to pick up first blood? Let's get some predictions going and see who's going to be able to pick this one correctly.
Someone just put up there, watch as Aussie gets first blooded before you'd even ask for a prediction.
Well, you predicted the question. Well played, dude. Well played. Very, very early ward coming out from Jerry, and it landed right in Ari's face. So Kevin had to fall back.
I could go for a twirl. Whoa, 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 whoa.
A little bit of voice prompts there coming out from Hawkdon. getting a bit dizzy there on Lulu. What do you think about these lane matchups? Top lane, Ocelot should be able to take out Blade Master. You know, just based on champion abilities and if he plays a bit aggressively.
Come on, you.
Yeah, I expect to see some jungle pressure from Nautilus in the early couple of levels up top lane. Because, okay, really strong, but she just lacks a little bit in those first couple of levels, especially when you're up against a Riven. So, Ocelot should have command of that lane until about level 3 or 4, perhaps. Unless we see Nautilus show himself. And he is starting the blue, so if he goes up there really early on, it will be ridiculously early, obviously level 2. But he's actually getting his wraith stolen.
Yeah. Now, what I'd like to know, or what I'd like to see from this mid lane is just how Lulu and Ari face off against one another once they both hit level 6. Because the duration on Polymorph is not very, very high. Polymorphs for 1.5 seconds, and I think Kevin on Ari will be able to get away once that Polymorph has actually been thrown down. Now, that's going to be the one to watch, and of course on the bot lane, Cleanse on Prathana, on his Corki. Going to be vital to escape the knock-up and the stuns from Kennen and Alistar. Kennen, of course, he is sitting on 65 attack damage, 6 armor pen plus 10%, and it looks like he's gone for attack speed runes. Looking at the stats here, not too much additional auto attack damage. So trying to get the electrical surge procs as often as is possible. We've already got a little bit of aggression on that bottom lane, a little bit of poking, but not too much harassment just yet between lanes. And a very, very passive start to the game.
We do actually have Nocturne, double buff, making his way straight up towards the top lane. Ocelot takes a stun to the head, Talor comes out with his double buff, gets the fear down. Ocelot's going to flash, but it's not actually going to break the chain, and he's lucky. The fear keeps him running towards the tower.
A little bit of a missed Duskbringer coming out from Talol as well, throwing it behind Ocelot. But of course that was because of the flash. Popped it, you know, the same second flash was used. Nothing coming of that first bit of pressure. But of course it does burn a flash, so Ocelot playing Riven, he's not going to be able to use that to escape should any more pressure be placed on that top lane. And a very, very tentative start between both teams. This is of course best of 1, so once you lose, or you know, if you lose, that's it, you are out. And there's only one additional chance, one additional attempt to qualify, and that'll be on Thursday's qualifier. So one of these teams is going to be going out at this stage in the tournament.
All to play for. Dreamhack, an amazing tournament. So everyone trying their hardest to get there. And of course, good luck to the unknown teams we mentioned before. Anyone can sign up for these qualifiers.
Yep, so if you are on the stream, if you are watching, head over to the Reddit post, which is one of the admins. They'll link it in chat in just a moment. You can find out the tournament page and exactly how to sign up, where to sign up. And try your hand. Give it a chance. If you've got some pre-made teams, but while we look at that, Dedran's now coming into the top lane. Stun comes out from Ocelot. Now Dedran moves in. He applies his auto attack stun as well. Gets stunned in return from the equalizing strike. Blademaster flashes away, gets caught back with the dredge line. The ignite is on. One more attack from Ocelot should be enough. Gets in range, lands it with the W key burst. First blood onto Riven. Great combination between Dedran and Ocelot in that top lane. Comboed all their abilities. They didn't miss a single spell. And well played to Riven. A couple of you guys managed to call out Ocelot, but for the wrong reasons, I think.
Yeah, everyone expected that first kill to go the other way.
Look at the bottom lane. So much damage going down. Prathana uses the cleanse, and the Valkyrie gets away on 3 hit points. One more hit would have been all that was needed. That was insane how close that was. Candy Panda just out of range, not able to pick that up. But the kill lane of Alistar Kennen already showing dividends. Look at this huge wave of creeps, which is now being pushed up to the tower. That's, what's that, 12 creeps that are going to be missed, maybe even more. Let's see how many the tower actually manages to pick up. Corki may get back in time for a little bit, but that's a lot of experience and a lot of gold that's going to be lost. So 1-0, SK pick up first blood, and they pick up almost a kill in that bottom lane.
I want to look at mid lane. How is... I mean, we saw Lulu do ridiculously well against Morgana in the last one. Extinct playing phenomenally. But how's Hawken doing up against Kevin Zari? He's on 43 CS with a couple of Durans on his first pack. 36 for Ari. So Lulu, so far, winning both the matchups we've seen her put in.
I'd like to see whether or not that converts to kill potential. That's what I'm really interested about. And in terms of leveling up, 3 points into Glitterlance, just a single one into help picks. And on the top lane, Ocelot being forced back by Aurelia. Oh, where is Aurelia? There we go. Of course, Aurelia standard, leveling up the hidden style. 1 point into both a Q and a E. So nothing out of the ordinary, at least in terms of the way the champions are being leveled up thus far. But look at the damage that Blade Master's being able to put out onto Ocelot. Even with that first blood, even with that early additional gold. With the Ninja Tabi, it's negating a lot of Riven's damage.
Yeah, and Aurelia's hit that point now where she's really strong. She just hit 6, so she's got her ult for some extra life steal. She's still got her Ignite up. She has got to be really careful because she can see Daedrin in the ward. And she's got no flash. So she's starting to get really strong. She has the bonus damage with her true damage. So Ocelot is going to have to be careful, but not as careful as Hawkdon. As Daedrin, no, doesn't quite manage to make it in there.
So the first blue buff is being donated to Hawkdon. He's going to be able to pick this up in just a second. At least gives him the ability to keep spamming those health picks and keep spamming those glitter lances out. Farm-wise, 57 to 47, so a small lead. And in the top lane, we do have Daedrin coming in. He applies the Riptide and then the slow. Going to use the Dredge line. Does manage to catch Blade Master right at the edge of the ability. But unfortunately, Ocelot just too far.